The Angels imploded again yesterday, and at this point, I almost feel bad for showing the highlights, but at least Shohei Ohtani made history, right? A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people are saying that Mookie Betts is having the best season ever of his entire career, and Aaron Boone, he had one of the funniest ejections I've seen in quite some time. All of that in today's MLB Recap, a series in which we recap every single game almost every single day, and a reminder, if you're going to any concerts or games anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off. So we'll talk about the Angels game right after this one, the Royals and the Red Sox. I feel so bad for Kansas City starter Cole Ragans, however you say his last name. He struck out 11 Red Sox in under 7 innings and 6 2/3, only allowed 4 base hits the entire night, but his offense got completely shut down by Boston starting pitcher Brian Bayo. Well, shut out at least until the 7th inning. Kansas City, they got on the board with an RBI from Michael Garcia, and look at Bobby Witt Jr. staying hot. His RBI double ties it at 2. He has 20 doubles, by the way. He is one of 3 players in baseball right now with 20 doubles, 20 home runs, and 30 stolen bases. He's in that conversation with Ronald Acuna Jr. and Corbin Carroll. But here's where things get spicy. Kansas City, they technically got the 3rd out, but the first baseman umpire ruled that no swing. So Urias, he's going to get awarded first base. And that led to this moment right here. Pablo Reyes with the walk-off grand slam. That is a brutal way to lose the game because they could have been out of the inning. Instead, the hitter was awarded first base. It led to another hitter coming up. And yeah, that's a walk-off grand slam for Mr. Reyes. This could be one of the saddest and most epic implosions in the history of baseball. I am so sorry, Halo fans. Patrick Bailey and JD Davis, they drove in San Francisco's first few runs, but the Angels, they fought back every single time. Patrick Bailey with an RBI single, and then they scored 2. JD Davis had a home run in the 7th, and then Luis Rengifo answers with a game-tying RBI single, but there's not going to be an answer after this. Randall Grichuk, no, an awful route. The ball is going to get past them. That's a 2-run double for Patrick Bailey, and then 3 more RBI singles in this game turned into one of those look in the mirror moments. Like, remember that movie Joker where he's looking into the mirror while crying and putting on makeup? That has to be the front office of the Angels right now because they did not trade Shohei Ohtani, and now you have lost 7 consecutive games after the trade deadline. And the crazy part is Carlos Estevez, the usually dependable closing pitcher for the Angels, he gave up 9 runs from opening day to the trade deadline. Since that point, he's given up 9 runs in 2 innings since the trade deadline ended. Doval, he struck out 3, and like I mentioned, the Angels, they've lost 7 in a row, and they're now 8 games back in the wild card. But Shohei Ohtani, he stole his 15th bag. So not only does he have 160 strikeouts as a pitcher, he became the first hitter ever in the history of baseball to have 40 home runs and 15 stolen bases in the team's first 115 games of a season. So at least Ohtani is still doing Ohtani things, right? I'm sorry, Halo fans. Dodger fans probably wanted to change channels after the first 3 innings of this game against the Padres. Luis Campusano, I think that's how you say his last name, he had a monster day. That's a 420-foot 2-run blast, his first of 2 home runs. Tatis, he had a 2-run double. He's up to 25 doubles and 60 RBIs, despite missing almost 30 games on the season. But those LA fans who stuck around, they got rewarded for their loyalty. You had doubles from David Peralta and Jason Hayward. They got it going, so it's now 5-3. Make it 5-4 after the RBI single from Miguel Rojas. It's a 1-run game. Mookie, he came up with the bases loaded, and that's a backbreaker if I've ever seen one. Mookie with the grand slam, his only base hit of the game, but he made it count. He has 31 home runs and a 155 OPS plus. I still think that his MVP year from Boston is his best season ever. Honestly, one of the best seasons of all time, but this one probably going to be at the number 2 spot. Hernandez, he had his first home run since rejoining the Dodgers. He's hitting .325 with 6 extra base hits and 7 RBIs in his first 11 games back as a Dodger. Max Muncy, he doubled in 2 more to further embarrass the Padres, but at least the Padres fought back, right? Well, one guy fought back. Luis Campusano, he went 4 for 4 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs as the Padres lose 13-7. Here we go, the Cubs and the Mets. Big Meat Pete, Polar Bear Pete, he's about to go on one of his signature power surges. He swatted a 3-run home run in the first and then made it a 2-home run, 5 RBI day later on. That one went 423 feet, an absolute no-doubter. He now has 4 seasons of 30-plus home runs and a 125 OPS plus through age 25. He is tied with guys like Frank Thomas, Miguel Cabrera, and Lou Gehrig. Pete Alonso, one of the best power hitters we've ever seen. Bellinger, he had a pretty nice day. That was his 2nd RBI single. He's now hitting .332 on the season. I wanted to at least show that because wow, did New York take out all of their frustrations on a really good Cubs team. Danny Mendick, he teed off. That's a 3-run home run to make it double digits. And then Pete Alonso, he had a 6 RBI day. The Mets are 7.5 games back in the wild card with 50 games left. Is there still hope? You guys have to let me know. Actually, actually, before we move on, Kodai Senga, he struck out 7 hitters over 6 innings. He has 142 strikeouts over 116 and 2/3 innings. He's the 6th rookie pitcher ever to have an 11 strikeouts per 9 after 20-plus starts. I mean, this is some pretty good company. The Marlins were taking on the Reds in Cincinnati, and Jorge Soler, he got things cooking early for the Marlins, even though he thought he missed that. Even Jorge Soler doesn't realize how strong Jorge Soler is. Rookie Yuri Perez, he finally got recalled from the minors. He looked sharp through the first 2 innings, but there's TJ Friedl ripping a huge 2-run 3-bagger. He's hitting .285 with 31 extra base hits and 21 stolen bases with pretty good outfield defense. He's very good at baseball. And so is CES. Christian Encarnacion Strand, he bangs a home run, and this guy still very much bangs. Joey Votto, even though he's barely hitting 200, he made it back-to-back home runs. He already has 13 on the season. Red starting pitcher Brandon Williamson, he was nearly unhittable after that home run to Jorge Soler. He strikes out 9 with just 3 base hits over nearly 7 innings. They really needed a quality start considering that the Cincinnati Reds have been bottom 5 in team ERA in the second half. Alexis Diaz, there he is with the 1-2-3 inning for his 33rd save. Cincy fans, they're crossing their fingers that the Brewers can take an L just like the Cubs did. Milwaukee felt like embarrassing someone today, and unfortunately the Rockies were on the other side of this embarrassing performance. Are the Rockies ever going to be good? Anyway, rookie Bryce Terang, he has been insane as of late. He's hitting .390 with 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases over his last 7 games. William Contreras, he stays raking. That's a 2-run single. And before we show the floodgates opening, I have to talk about Freddie Peralta. He's going to be the Milwaukee key if they're going to go far in the playoffs. The dude went out and struck out 13 hitters in just 7 innings. He only allowed 1 base hit and didn't walk anyone. Tyrone Taylor, he went yard in the 8th inning, and then so did Sal Frelick, a 3-run tater. He has 15 RBIs and a .425 on-base percentage in his first 16 games. That kid can play. I think the only other pitcher that might have been better than Freddie Peralta was rookie Gavin Williams. This kid started the game with 5 strikeouts through 2 innings. He ended up with 12 strikeouts after 7 shutout innings. He only allowed 1 base hit as well. That's why I think he was just a little bit better than Freddie Peralta, but they were both nasty. Cleveland, they're going to make some history, though, in the worst way possible, because as soon as Gavin left the game, they gave up a 2-run tank, a 2-run home run to Cavan Biggio. That was followed up by an unassisted double play from Cavan Biggio to end the threat in the 8th inning. Jordan Hicks had one of the craziest 9th innings I've ever seen. He somehow still converted the save by the skin of his teeth. That's the second time in Major League Baseball history where a starting pitcher went 7 innings with 12 strikeouts, 1 hit, and 1 or fewer walks and lost the game. I guess it's not bad company, because the only other guy to ever have that happen to him was Randy Johnson. The Jays, they've won 4 games in a row. The Guardians, they've lost 3 games in a row. Now, before we talk about the Yankees game and Aaron Boone getting ejected, I got to check in on the Twins and see if they can extend their lead. I mean, this game was basically over before it started. This was one of the most lopsided starts I've seen to a game all year. Correa, he played a Donovan Solano on a double, and then Ryan Jeffers, he socked a 3-run home run right after to make it a 4 spot in the first inning. Make it a 7 spot. Joey Wentz got torched again, this time a 3-run tater off the bat of Carlos Correa. Correa quietly has 7 RBIs over his last 3 games. Is he finally waking up? He better hope so, because he's hitting .224 with an 89 OPS plus even after this big-time game. Pablo Lopez, he picked apart the Detroit offense, 8 strikeouts over 7 innings. Over his last 4 starts, he has a 1.8 ERA and 28 strikeouts. The Twins, they won 5 in a row, and they're now 5.5 games ahead of the Guardians in the AL Central. The Blue Jays can get to 5.5 games ahead of the Yankees for the final wildcard spot if the bad news bears. I mean, the Chicago White Sox can grab a W against Garrett Cole of all people. Andrew Vaughn, he had himself a big day. He cracked a big boy 2-run home run in the 2nd inning, and then he saved the game with his glove later on in the 6th. Now, before we show his web gem, I have to give some love to Dylan Cease, because he's been pretty bad this year, but he went 5 1/3 shutout with 6 strikeouts. He ended up getting removed after allowing a bunch of base runners in the 6th, and enter Andrew Vaughn. He laid out down the line, and he beat Jake Bauers to the bag. He basically saved the game, because we know how much momentum means in baseball. Luis Robert Jr., he doubled in 2 in the 8th inning. He's the first player to 30 doubles and 30 home runs this year. Then the 35-year-old Brian Shaw, he carved New York up. He struck out 4 over the final 2 frames, sending the Yankees to 5.5 games back to that final wildcard spot. Now, Boone, he got ejected in the 8th inning. It was one of the funniest ejections I've seen in quite some time. He drew a line where he thought the pitch was. Then he mocked Laz Diaz's strikeout move. I mean, Boone was 100% in the right, and he had a reason to be upset, because look at how terrible Laz Diaz was yesterday. Look at all of those balls on the outside corner that he called strikes. He was horrific. Here we go, the A's and the Rangers. A's rookie Zach Geloff has been like really good. That 2-run double gives him 12 extra base hits and 10 RBIs in his first 20 games. Texas, they also have an extra base machine in the name of Mitch Garver. He got the Rangers on the board in the 4th inning. That double got the Rangers within 1, and oh no, an error in the 7th ties it at 3-3. It kind of got boring from there. The A's, they lost the lead on a fielder's choice, and then a sac fly from Leody Taveras make it 5-3. I mean, that's the game. Chapman, he struck out the side in the 8th inning. He looks even more nasty with the Rangers. And Will Smith, he converted his 21st save on the year. The Rangers, they've won 7 in a row. You could definitely make the case that this was one of the worst performances of Spencer Strider's entire life. I'm talking Little League, high school, college if he went to college, minor leagues. He got lit up for 6 runs in the 3rd inning. It was base hit after base hit. McCutchen, he knocked in Brian Reynolds, and that was right before Henry Davis and Jared Triolo, they added to it on some singles. Triolo's, his was a 2-run single, and he ended up scoring on a Liover Peguero RBI base hit. Things did get interesting though, as Atlanta, they put up 4 in the very next frame, and thank goodness that Connor Joe ripped a home run in the bottom half of that inning, because the Braves, they barely lost this game. They scored 2 unanswered. It just wasn't enough. David Bednar, even though he gave up a run in the final inning, he converted his 23rd save of the year. The Pirates barely beat the Braves 7-6. Today's immaculate grid actually looks pretty difficult, so we'll get to that in just a second. A quick update on the division standings. Look at the Orioles and the Braves. I think they're the first 2 teams in baseball. Yep, the only teams in baseball right now is 70 wins. Nothing really changed in terms of the division standings. I mean, yeah, nothing changed. Let's talk about the wild card. So I guess nothing really changed in the wild card either. The Mariners and the Jays, they're on some win streaks right now. The Blue Jays are up by 3 games. You have the Mariners and the Red Sox within 5. The Yankees at 5.5 games back of the Angels. They've lost 7 in a row. In the National League wild card, you have the Reds. They're back ahead of the Cubs because the Cubs lost. So the Cubs are now 1 game back of that final wild card spot. The Marlins, they've lost 5 in a row. The Diamondbacks have lost 6 games in a row. So the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Marlins, they're all within 4 games. Today's immaculate grid, I don't know if I'm going to be able to complete all of these or have a good rarity score. The Rangers and the Mets. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Absolutely no one is coming to my head right now. And was Gary Matthews Jr. ever on the Rangers? I have no idea. So the Rangers and the Blue Jays. Rangers and the Blue Jays. Mitch Moreland. Was Mitch Moreland ever on the Blue Jays? I can't remember that. The Rangers 21 season, this first row, no one's coming to my head for this first row. 21 season for the Tigers. I know this one just because I played a lot of MLB The Show. I know that Hal Newhouser was really good back in the day, 5%. A 200 strikeout season, also a 20 plus. It has to be, Clemens has to be in this conversation, right? Or maybe Randy Johnson, 200 plus, and yeah, Roger Clemens at 10%. Okay, there's quite a few names in that one. 200 plus strikeouts for the Blue Jays. Halladay, I'm going to go Roy Halladay, please. Yes, Roy Halladay, 52%. I could have maybe gone with Ricky Romero. Was Ricky Romero a 200 strikeout pitcher? The Tigers and the Blue Jays. Tigers and the Blue Jays. Oh, dude, this is actually really tough. 200 plus strikeout season for the Mets. I could go with Dwight Gooden. I could go with Tom Seaver, I think, had 200 strikeouts. I'm going to go Gooden because I know he did that, I think, in his rookie season. 19%. Okay, there we go. A Tiger and Met. A Tiger and Met. Let me think about some. Chasen Shreve? Wasn't Chasen Shreve on both of these teams? 0.3%. That might be my best one ever. The Tigers and the Blue Jays. Okay, let me think about some relief pitchers. Daniel Norris wasn't. No, wait. Was that his name? He's like a lefty pitcher that lived out of his van. I'm pretty sure that he was on both. I'm going to go ahead and put that. Daniel Norris. I'm almost positive he was on both teams. 5%. There we go. All right, so now the top row. I knew that the top row was going to be the biggest one. Rangers and 20 wins. The only name that is coming to my head, there's like 3 names. I don't think that Cliff Lee, even though he was really good for the Rangers, I think he didn't even stay with them for that long. No way. Maybe Kevin Brown. That's a name that's coming to my head. CJ Wilson. Kyle Gibson did not get 20. Did Kyle Gibson get 20? No, I'm going to go Kevin Brown. I think that Kevin Brown is going to be the majority. Yeah, 43%. Okay, Kevin Brown. So we have 2 left. The Blue Jays and the Rangers. I cannot think of anyone, absolutely no one, in terms of the Rangers and the Mets, the Rangers and the Blue Jays. I'm going to have to think about this.
6.5 hours later.
Yeah, guys, I can't think of anyone. I'm going to go Kenny Lofton for Rangers and Blue Jays. No, not Kenny Lofton. And then Mets and Rangers. I'm just going to try and pull someone out of my head. Maybe Endy Chavez. I can't get any of these. I got Endy Chavez right. I pulled that one completely out of my you-know-what. Yo, that actually could have been... There's no way I did not get Marcus Semien. Are you actually joking right now? Marcus Semien, Jacob deGrom. Am I dumb? How did I get Endy Chavez before Jacob deGrom, and how did I not think of Marcus Semien? What is wrong with me? I could have gone with Alex Rios. Okay, I should have known that one. Marcus Semien. Justin Smoke. I should have gotten Justin Smoke. That does it for today's MLB recap. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. If you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. And then this is my gaming channel. We still post MLB The Show almost every single day. So if you guys want to help me get to 100,000 subs, click this button right here. Watch some gaming videos. They're fun. And I'll catch you in the next recap.